This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production.
On your marks, get set, play.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Welcome back to the tent, everybody. It's Crimpetissier. It's Great British Bake Off podcast. Back once again with the homies, Nick Jew.
Was on mute. That's my bad. Oh, chocolate week. Chocolate week.
Yeah. And of course, the 216's own Tatum. What's good, boy?
I'm always chocolate every week.
True. It is a lifetime kind of situation here. It's Series 14, Episode 4. Chocolate Week, a whopping 67 minutes long. I like the Forrest Gump bit because when she called him Shrimpy and they both cracked up, it was so funny to me.
It was so cute. Like, I think that was not written. That looked like some real laughing they were doing.
That was definitely a freestyle.
I'm really like, I love them together. Like, I think that they crack each other up in real life, and most of their interactions is just them making each other laugh. I love Allison as an addition to the show.
Yeah. Truly,
I feel like
has been a delight.
I feel like it seems less forced. I feel like it's less like bits and more just like banter.
Mm-hmm. I think they're both. I know they are both. It's not that Matt's not a comic. He's a different type of comic. And so these two are more, I don't know.
Matt is a comedic actor.
Fair.
Which I think is the difference. Because I think that Noel and Allison are just like comedians.
Yeah. And so they catch a vibe and they just work well off one another. Oh, I also point out that I love Dana's dress this week, and Prue's fit was also wildfly. Prue came out her little, like, I don't know what you want to call that, like Miss Frizzle pantsuit. And I was like, hey, Prue, I see you.
She had that shit on, as the kids say. Prue had that shit on.
Came through it. I fuck with it. The long and the short way. You said to quote my man Ant here.
I often look at what sneakers people are wearing. And a couple weeks ago, Nikki had on some Adidas Gazelles, but they just weren't like any. They were the newer ones, like with 3 different layers on them. I'm like, and like they're pretty much sold out anywhere. I was like, man, those are some nice sneakers she had on.
I was at a funeral the other day, not to get all into it, but but both them priests was rocking them hokas, these clean black hokas, and I was like, y'all got on some crisp ass. I like want to talk to him about it, but of course it's a funeral, so I couldn't holler at my man. But still.
every time I see some of those, now I think about you. But I've been seeing. Me and my mom was just talking about this on the phone. Gabe's and Ross been having some shit these last couple of weeks.
Well, hey, we're going to slide through it too. And every week, y'all, we hit y'all with a little something, just a little news in the realm of baking. Again, it will never be sad or boring or whatever like that. To do that, we have a little section for you that we call Bakers Make the World Go Round. And I'm going to play you that theme song right now. Here, watch this. Bakers make the world go round. They do. And we respect them for their efforts. This week's little tale of from the realm of baking is from the good people at NPR Pop Culture Happy Hour. Linda Holmes on the byline. The recipe for a better bake-off: fun format, good casting, and less host shtick. We just discussed our host shtick, and we said what? That it is good. Linda Holmes, you on some nonsense, but I'm gonna read your article anyway, baby. I think last season of the Great British Baking Show, Bake Off, was the first one I didn't gobble up, no pun intended, the minute the episodes dropped. I had grown weary of the hosting team of Noel Fielding and Matt Lucas, frustrated with overly complicated bakes that were almost impossible to execute well, and dismayed at repeated and increasingly obnoxious takes on, quote, ethnic food, end quote. Weeks that didn't even seem to represent good faith efforts to get things right. What a relief to be looking forward to episodes arriving on Netflix on Friday mornings again. The show has had a long and bumpy ride. I'm not alone in believing that the best and purest version will always be the first one, the public television one with Mary Berry alongside Paul Hollywood and with Mel, I cannot pronounce that, and Sue, which is going to go with that, Mel and Sue. It is Giedroyc. Now, come on, y'all. Okay. But the era that followed, with Prue Leaf taking Mary's place and Noel Fielding hosting with Sandy Toksvig, that one I can do, had its charms too. Then Sandy left, and she was replaced by Matt Lucas, who was much too close to being another Noel. A look at me presence who seemed less interested in the contestants than in doing bits and being the center of attention. No, I didn't like Matt like that, but I didn't think Matt was like, look at me, look at me. I feel like that is what he was made to do. That is what he was hired
I
to do.
didn't think that either.
Don't be hating. You can do bits on this show.
Matt was the one I liked.
That's why they hire comedians. But you have to care about the contestants first. Things got wonky. Lucas is gone now, replaced by Allison Hammond, a boisterous but generous companion to Fielding, who has helped the show restore its balance. She's silly, but not distracting. She and Noel don't interrupt the flow or do shtick the way he did with Lucas. I literally saw this man pick up a bowl and drop it on this very week's show. Shut the fuck up. Production has knocked off the convoluted challenges and going back to ones the bakers can do well. Clearly not in Chocolate Week. This week's Showstopper, for instance, is a cake inside of any sort of chocolate box that you want to make. It's making a chocolate box fancy. Sure, is it impossible or does it result in nothing but a series of failures? No, and yes, they've made the wise decision to stop the national weeks that were increasingly embarrassing for everyone involved. I'll leave the rest of that for y'all to be read as I get angry and angry as I read through it.
A whole lot of hate going on.
I don't read these beforehand. I like to be surprised with my host here, and all this is piss me off. So we're gonna stop reading that. It'll be in the notes. I get it. People didn't fuck with Matt. I guess I like Matt just fine.
I do fine.
I enjoyed both his seasons of the show. In fact, and we started this show on those seasons. So also, it's a part of the fabric of this very show. Can't call it. But yeah, we don't fuck with Japanese or Mexican week. Nah, son. Them shits was bad.
I don't fuck with a week where the primary challenges don't involve baking. Like, why would you make a taco? They didn't even make tortillas.
Bruh. When they be frying shit, I'm like, that ain't baking, my guy. So, it's a lot of this that don't. This week, when they whipping up chocolates, it's chocolate week, so I get it, but it ain't baking. I feel like they had to add that baking element to make that work.
Yeah.
Anywho, our 9 remaining bakers in this series are Christy Sharp, Dan Cazador, Dana Conway, Josh Schmalley, Matt Edgel, Nikki Laceby, Rowan Clawton, Saku, Chandra Sakara. Got it the first time, y'all. Although y'all never know that I don't get it the first time because I edit it. And Tasha Stein. but legit, I got that the first time this go round. I'm proud of myself. Our signature this go round, a luxurious flourless chocolate torte, 2.5 hours complete. Question was asked, what's the difference between a torte and a cake? And you know I'm here with the answer, y'all. This is from Food 52, Cake versus Torte. What's in a name? Carolyn Lang on the byline. You skim the dessert menu. I'll have the torte, you say. But what really are you asking for when you do? What are you imagining? Is it the layered, shiny, glazed, chocolatey slice from fancy restaurants and museum cafes? Something a little more Austrian-inspired and jammy? Looking at you, Linzer Torte. Are you just looking for a piece of cake? And is there really a difference between the piece of cake and a piece of torte? The answer is yes, but how is not such a piece of cake to unravel? So what's a torte? It's a cake. Well, that's true mostly. It's a fancy layered cake. That's how the Oxford English Dictionary defines it. The OED specifies that a torte is a round cake or bread, and also suggests that it has always differed slightly in some way from cakes, or that it's a subsection within the umbrella of cake. A 16th century example cites tortes or cakes. Another OED's definition clarifies that a torte is an elaborate sweet cake or tart. And here the inclusion of tart muddles the definition of torte even further. According to Rebecca Salisbury of the Culinary Institute of America, trained director of customer care, the CIA's baking and pastry book defines torte as the German word for cake. It can be multi-layered or single dense layer. And says our resident baking expert, Aaron McDowell, tortes are traditionally fancy cakes, meaning they look very polished and clean. Again, this is in your show notes. You have the whole full thing, full read if you are so inclined. But yeah, tortes, cakes, you know what it is. In this case, our torte this week has to be flourless. We're not putting any flour in it. We're going to bake with other types of flour, basically, but just not wheat flour. Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, this week is gonna be chock full of little side bits, because I gotta tell y'all what a lot of people was making, because a lot of people are making things that require me to define them for you as a part of how we produce this particular show. Saku is making a Saku torte. Her take on a Sakatorte filled with raspberry jam instead of the traditional apricot jam. The original Sakatorte, its apocryphal origins are said to have been the creation of a then 6-year-old Franz Sacher, who was apprenticing for the chef of Clemens von Metternich, the prince of the Metternich. It's a W is pronounced with a V. Yeah. Winberg zu Bielstein, who was charged with creating a novel cake in his master's absence due to illness. The cake consists of a dense chocolate cake with a thin layer of apricot jam between two halves. Coated in a dark chocolate icing on top and side, served with unsweetened whipped cream. Saku's version is made with almond flour topped with white chocolate, nest topped with whole raspberries.
So they said they could use either almond flour or what was the other ingredient?
They just can use wheat flour, so anything.
Okay.
Basically, everybody went with a different nut flour. So
what is does that just like bring up the difficulty in the science?
Yeah,
not using flour.
Wheat flour do go a certain way, and it's not necessarily flour. They use ground stuff, and in a couple of cases they use just meringue. So no flour in the cake is just basically what it comes down to. So dig it. Josh was making a raspberry and chocolate torte made with a pecan derived situation. You'll say he used ground pecans of his own design, layers of chocolate cremeux, raspberry chantilly cream, and raspberries from his garden. Again, y'all got to take you on these little offshoots. A chocolate cremeux or a cremeux au chocolat. It's a classic French cream with a silky texture and intense flavor. Cremeux is one of the OG French pastry recipes that combines creme anglaise, which is a custard, with chocolate. It's cream, it's milk, it's egg yolks, and chocolate. Just hit that all together. 50-50 mix of cream and milk. So, Rowan is attempting a mocha chocolate torte. Swiss meringue buttercream, milk chocolate mousse layers covered in chocolate ganache glaze. Dan is making a chili and chocolate torte. And I wrote here in my notes, why won't these people leave Mexico be? Yeah, he's using a guanabana fruit liqueur. Of course, again, another little detour. Guanabana or soursop is a fruit from the Annona muricata tree. That tree has no other name. I was trying to find just like if you call that bitch like an oak or some other thing. No, you don't. It's just what that name is, and it's its scientific name, and that's what we ride out with. With flavors described as a combination of strawberries, apple with citrus notes, but the texture of a banana. Everything about this sounds disgusting to you, boy. Ew. The liqueur that Dan is using, though, is Juana Mayan Guanabana. By the clear as day by the bottle. Made with, so just in case you wanted to, get down with his brand of liqueur. His torte itself is made with hazelnuts, dark chocolate, and the aforementioned liqueur, topped with fresh raspberries and a chili chocolate truffles, and decorated with a white chocolate triangles and a little chili on the top of it. Looks real nice. Tasha was going for a ginger, almond, and dark chocolate torte with almond, dark chocolate, ground ginger, amaretto, and ginger wine, which I didn't even know was a thing. Y'all hit the ginger wine? Okay, good.
No.
About the pocket, like, yeah, I'm sipping on that ginger wine regularly. I'm like, really? Cool.
No.
Topped with ginger mascarpone kisses and caramelized almonds. Paul signing while talking to her. I'm not saying he was doing the whole conversation, but he was signing, and I thought that was real fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? I know they had a translator there, but I think Paul attempting or trying his best, himself sign. I think that's real fly. Dana's I noticed for this first go round. One, I guess Nikki, but most people didn't have a name for their, you know what I'm saying? They give like cute little names, but only Dana and Nikki got anything kind of like in that vein. And Dana's is I Cherry-ish You chocolate torte.
Another thing I noticed about Dana, she had that dress on.
I told you that dress was dressing. That dress was dressing. Okay. I was like, goddamn, Dana got that ass.
They showed it from a couple of angles too. I was like, oh, cameraman, thank you so much. You knew exactly what I was getting at.
It was a very cute dress. I just want y'all to know. 3-layered almond-based torte filled with cherry compote, white chocolate mascarpone, buttercream, and candied almonds topped with gold-leafed cherries. To watch her do that was amazing. Just the gold leaf is wild, y'all. Christy, cherry and chocolate torte. A recreation of a childhood favorite is an almond, chocolate, and cherry torte filled with cherry brandy, whipped cream, and wrapped in a decorated white chocolate collar topped with cherries. And here in my notes, I wrote, these bakers have to lay off these overly intricate molds that don't release easily. The tin simply isn't the place for them. It doesn't work, and it's just slowing them up and and just getting them pissed off. Maddie, hazelnut and chocolate torte with a chocolate and praline mousse and topped with chocolate cremeux, covered in chocolate mirror glaze with a crown of tempered chocolate shards. Nikki, only one with got another cute name, Dreamy Chocolate Torte, flavored with vanilla rum, sitting on top of chocolate mousse with an almond nougatine base. And nougatine is basically brittle, y'all. In this case, just almond brittle. Topped with somebody else, topped with tempered chocolate shards. That's the layout this go round. As for the judgment, Nikki's up top, looks amazing. A little work of art. Elegant, classy, and cool. Great flavors. Needed something to break up the richness of the chocolate. Now, when they showed the picture of her thing, or, when they point out, this, that, and third, it said that she was using freeze-dried raspberries on top of her cake. But when they did the close-up of it and discussed it, it had some little red berries on top of it, but clearly that wasn't doing what they needed to do, and it certainly wasn't freeze-dried raspberries. So I wonder what happened between the art being drawn and them discussing it and what was actually presented to the judges. Maddie looks good from the top. Flavor of the cake and praline worked beautifully well together. It did look kind of wonky from the side, but I don't know. I guess you come looking at that cake from above, you'll be all right. Dana, love the height. Looks spectacular. Flavor fantastic. Cherry mascarpone flavor a bit weak. Had it been set overnight, it would have been even better. Which I get your point, Prue, but it couldn't have been set overnight. Why you say it?
Why mention it?
You know what I'm saying? Don't even bring that shit up, man. Josh, they like the color, like the shine. The sides, however, are not particularly good. And it's funny to me how they point out that his sides aren't good, but then, like I said, they kind of let Matt get a walk on his sides not looking good. You know what I'm saying? It's just a weird little bit of judgy. Absolutely delicious. The tartness of the raspberries comes through. You really get the chocolate. It tastes amazing, but it's more of a pudding than a cake. Now, isn't it? So, okay, fine. Christy, a little messy where the collar joins the cake. Cake a little dry and crumbly and has no real flavor.
Damn.
Yes.
Just tell me to leave.
Said something nice after that, though, right?
She did.
I didn't even write it down. That's how little it mattered to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That shit was whack. Basically, Allison was like, "Oh, so no flavor means no calories, right?" They just joke a little bit after that. It's like, whatever.
Just send me home right there.
Yeah, thank you for real. Dan, Looks very neat and quite original. Little more height would have been appreciated. Texture too gluey and a little overwhelming on the alcohol.
Gluey.
I don't even want ever. No,
Oof.
don't. Just lie to me. Tasha.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little
So
lies.
when we first talked to Tasha this episode, they basically was like, look, that Starbaker twice in a row, I need your shit hitting. And Prue was like, bro, don't be putting all that pressure on her. And I'm going to. And what we end up with is a finish not as good as it could be. Ginger's lovely and strong. Texture of the cake, very pudding-like, too moist. Ginger brings the heat, but it also has a ton of amaretto that has unfortunately drowned it. You know what I didn't hear them say right now, though?
Gluey.
In this here chocolate week? Not a damn thing about chocolate. Where the fuck is the
Not
chocolate in
once.
this cake at?
Not once.
Yeah, so I mean, yes, that's a problem to me. And you know, I'm team Tasha, but if your chocolate cake or if this chocolate week,
Ain't no
you don't
chocolate.
mention chocolate, it's a problem. Saku, a bit messy, very chocolatey. The raspberry's nice and strong, but a bit too gooey in the middle, and so heavy you couldn't have a lot of it. Rowan, very elegant, beautifully smooth, a lovely shine. Decorations and pipework are good. Prue loves the coffee flavor. Paul thinks it's beautiful with a silky Swiss meringue buttercream, and the coffee flavor is spot on.
Come on, Rowan.
The sponge
And
is
it
compressed
looked-
a little. Oh, go on,
It
man.
looked very neat.
It
Like
did.
it was one of the best looking cakes.
Yeah. Prue says that's probably because, not no, probably do it. Prue says it's because it's flourless why it's compressed. Basically, you know, like, Paul, it's not compressed. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Overall, a very good job. I don't think I've seen Rowan show out once in these 4 episodes. So that was kind of nice to see he's in this tent for a reason. You know, it's good to see he got the chops somewhere. Our technical challenges go around 6 individual cheesecakes made with a caramelized white chocolate and Odie biscuit base topped with black currant jelly and white chocolate decorations. 2 hours to complete.
A caramelized white chocolate, a slice of a millimeter thin was the only, in the decoration, the only chocolate component in Chocolate Week. They did a cheesecake for the technical challenge in Chocolate Week. It's not that the show isn't good, because they could do terrible challenges every week. It's just that they're just getting lazy with the ideas, because the show is still lovely. The formula works so well, but when you just slice and dice it, it's like, it's Chocolate Week. Redo the same shit every year.
True. Because if they can't come through and do what they know they have to do already, then they're not very great bakers.
Yeah.
Allison's B to the A to the K to the E, let's bake cheer situation.
I love it.
Delight. I want y'all to know. I think what it comes down to, I think my boo is just Allison.
Yeah.
I think I just love her.
She's great. She is great.
Going toward the tail end of the challenge, the heat in the tent takes Tasha down so bad that they send her on.
Literally took her down.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, and then that, for long-term watchers, you already know what it is. It sets us up for the rest of the episode. I already know. I knew exactly how this would play out. It played out just as I knew it would, and we'll get there when we get there.
And I think had she done super well in the signature challenge, it might have played out a different way.
Correct. That's exactly what it was. There's a lot of saving graces here this Chocolate Week. Our judging of the technical, though. Josh is up first. Looks neat and identical, a little overbaked. Now you hear that and you think that sounds not so bad. But where Josh ends up in the ranking, you'd have thought he was the worst man ever. Christy, not very good looking. Everything was placed on top while it was still hot, so it melted off. The filling is grainy, but they're all the right size. Maddie.
Grainy. A delicious way to describe cheesecake.
No.
Looks nice, although there is a big dip in the middle, which means they probably came out the oven too early. But the jelly and decorations both look nice, caramelized correctly as well. Saku, rushed and overbaked. Dan, very neat. Nice set. Decent color. All the layers are very even and neat, smooth filling, delicious.
It was at this point that I began to refer to him as Handsome Dan. He was smiling. I was like, look at Dan. Handsome Dan.
My man got back in his zone.
Sure did.
Even though, trust me, he should be at home.
Yes.
And therefore, we got a better Dan this week than we had last. Dana, overbaked. Jelly not smooth. What decision to make? I'm not going to strain my jelly. Like, why? You know what jelly is. I know you know what it is. You live in this country. But in her mind, she's like a little fruit on top of the cheesecake. Well, baby, that's not what you was asked to do. Y'all got to stick to the brief and the technical. That's the one not to fuck around with. But the dress was dressing.
It was. And she had to take that sweater off because it was too hot the next day.
A bit rough, a little grainy on the mouth.
Ugh.
It's such a well identified turn of phrase that you know exactly what's happening there. You can feel it. This is particularly hilarious for Rowan. Rowan looks as if it were dropped.
Oh no.
Heat is again the issue with the toppings and decorations having melted. Color not bad. Filling is good. Base is good. Nice and smooth inside. It's like to have so much right. And then that's wild to me. Everybody, I don't know, man. We'll get here. We can discuss it. And y'all can tell if maybe I'm just wrong. Nikki, base not even. One side thick, the other thin. The filling's all right. The jelly is delicious. I don't think I've ever had black currant anything, and I lightweight want to find some. Because they always
like, yeah, I've had black currant jam, maybe.
I don't know. They don't fuck with grape over there. So everything they do is black currant. Everything purple over there is black currant. Everything purple is grape over there is black currant. So I want to try some black currant.
So is
stuff.
it like a mix between a berry and a grape?
I feel like I can't remember. Let me look it up because I don't remember, but I know I've had some like black currant jam. Yeah, it looks like a blueberry, but it's situated on the vine like a grape.
Would you call that a vine?
Ish. Or like an olive branch.
Find me a Wikipedia entry about this shit. Hold on. Okay. The black currant, Ribes nigrum, also known as black currant or cassis, is a deciduous shrub in the family. I'm not even going to attempt. Well, come on. Let's take a look at it. Grossulariaceae. Grown for its edible berries, it's native to temperate parts of Central and Northern Europe and Northern Asia, where it prefers damp, fertile soils. It's widely cultivated both commercially and domestically. It is a winter hardy, but cold weather at flowering time during the spring may reduce the size of the crop. Bunches of small, glossy black fruit develop along the stems in the summer and can be harvested by hand or by machine. The raw fruit is particularly rich in vitamin C and polyphenols. Black currants can be eaten raw, but they are usually cooked in sweetened or savory dishes. They're used to make jams, preserves, and syrups, and are grown commercially for the juice market. The fruit is also used to make alcoholic beverages and dyes. Fascinating.
I've had it like a raisin.
Like just some dried black currants?
And mixed into like a nut thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Trail mix, whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm gonna find me some black currants, y'all. Or you the listener, let me know if I need to be bothered.
The whole internet is saying that is it banned in America? I don't know what that's very odd.
I mean, we just bang out with grapes over here. It's just easy that way. Oh, the ranking in the text. In the tactical challenge. At the bottom is Saku. They look terrible and overbake. Number 7 is Christy. Bit of a mess, but tastes good. Number 6 is Josh. I just don't understand how he's number 6 when what they said about him in the judging. Far too dark in the caramel and bake. I don't know. I don't get it. 5 is Dana. 4 is Nikki. 3 is Rowan. They look like they got dropped. Rowan is number 3.
Yeah.
No, I simply disagree with the judging with the ranking this week. Maddie, not bad. Bit of a dip in the middle. Number 1, Dan. Well done. The only one that's perfect.
Handsome Dan. So
love
I
it.
think I've figured it out. I think this is my beef with the technical challenge, and I've just realized it as you were talking. The technical aspect of this challenge was caramelizing the white chocolate.
Yeah.
So if you got that part right, I guess they probably just didn't care about the rest, which is why Rowan, who they said his looked like he dropped it, he did the white chocolate part right. And so now I'm going to go either back or forward and see like what the technical element was in every one of these challenges and see if that changes my mind about the judging.
Okay, going forward, we will try as a group to figure out
It's my
what
hypothesis.
is the technical challenge,
Yeah.
and we'll see if we all agree on what the technical challenge is.
Well, typically they talk about it. So
Yeah.
when they sat down, Paul and Prue, she was like, it's the caramelizing the white chocolate.
Yeah, 30 seconds. How she explained to do it is 30-second burst in the microwave. 30
And
seconds.
nobody
stir.
did it.
30 seconds stir. 30
Mhm.
seconds stir. People were like,
If I'm not
burst, and I'm like, what
No,
the
one
fuck
person
about,
did it.
What was
Yeah,
confusing about the word burst that had Christy like burst? I'm like, what the fuck do you not understand about Christy?
Well, what was the word she couldn't say? Horns.
Orange, that's your girl, Nikki.
She is so fucking hilarious to me. I love her more every week.
Dig it. Showstopper this week, spectacular edible chocolate box, along with some molded chocolates. Should have an exquisite chocolate cake within said box. 4 hours to complete. Nick Jew, were you showstop this week?
No. Also, I have been watching way too much Naked Attraction because I was not mature enough to handle all the discussions of chocolate boxes.
and nuts.
And nuts. The nuts one were more obvious, but every time somebody talked about a chocolate box, I had a giggle.
Dig it. I dig
You
it.
deserve to giggle, Nick.
Thank you.
First up, Josh, who's going for a chemistry centenary chocolate box decorated cake situation. Tempered chocolate box surrounding a chocolate sponge cake layered with caramel, buttercream, and roasted hazelnuts, topped with salted caramel and vanilla and white chocolate truffles. I'll tell you where he falls apart in that discussion. Rowan, Grandpa's paint box. Chocolate sponge filled with chocolate orange layers filled with Swiss meringue buttercream, mousse and orange curd, raspberry and orange fondant chocolates to represent the oil paints. I'll tell you now, he didn't get all that done. Dan, a treasure chest of delight filled with layers of white chocolate mousse, tropical fruit jellies, coconut dacquois, and a white genoise sponge. Dacquois is a dessert made with layers of almond and hazelnut meringue and whipped cream or buttercream on a buttery biscuit base. The term dacquois can also refer to the nut meringue layer itself, which is what we have going on in Dan's creation this week. Caramel and rum-soaked raisins in a seashell shaped mold is his chocolates that he's making for this challenge. Dana, once upon a time chocolate box cake. White chocolate carriage filled with layers of chocolate sponge cake with salted peanut caramel and peanut butter and cream cheese mousse with a cookie dough and pretzel chocolate, as well as an Irish cream liqueur chocolate. Christy for Love Chocolate Box, dedicated to her husband, her little soulmate. Aww. Made from white chocolate, layers of hazelnut mascarpone, filling a chocolate espresso and hazelnut sponge, hazelnut praline. I don't think I say praline. I think they did. Praline and chocolate ganache chocolates. Saku, time for a cricket chocolate box. Pistachio sponge filled with chocolate cream cheese icing, along with 3 chocolates, pistachio, raspberry, and coffee. Maddie's making chocolate genoise sponge, layered with raspberry coulis and fresh raspberries, a creme mousseline covered in chocolate mirror glaze. Creme mousseline is a creme pat whisk with butter for a long time, so the texture is foamy and airy. His chocolates are pistachio and lemon flavored. Nikki, this is no ordinary chocolate box. Salted caramel and lemongrass and coconut chocolates, along with a chai and orange liqueur cake filled with chocolate ganache and hazelnut meringue. I was pretty happy with everybody's ideals this week. Like all these are sound. They all make sense. I get what everybody's up to. I don't know what the fuck your boy Roy was trying. I know what he was trying to do. I don't know, but I still don't know what the fuck he was trying to do. Because, bruh.
That tree shit or whatever. Like, if he could have done it, it would have been cool. But
Yeah.
my man's is in school and didn't practice.
My man graduated the week he filmed this, and I was just like, you know, I mean, if you would have went home, that would have been fine. Then you could at least been
Right.
leaning on the fact you finish up with uni.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie box is beautifully engineered, but it's lost all its shine. The molded chocolates though look perfectly tempered. The raspberries delicious. The textures are spot on. The raw raspberries would oftentimes make a sponge wet, but he pulled it off. Well done. As they eat the molded chocolates, you know, because Raz to make these molded chocolates proves like I would pay a lot of money for a box of these chocolates. So good job. Dan, neat, beautiful, looks amazing. Flavors are wonderful, fresh, but it's more of a dessert than a cake, isn't it? Molded chocolates have a lovely shine. That is what separates the wheat from the chaff this week for that particular guy. You didn't make a cake when you were requested to make a cake. Sorry for your luck. Dana, really impressive from a distance. The most subtlest diss ever. That's shit gorgeous from across the room, little homie. But not much shine on the cake. Not much shine on it. The cake is delicious, but the nuts and caramel are far too pale, need to be richer in color, which of course would bring more flavor. The molded chocolates were also just very sweet, and Prue was not a fan of the Pop Rocks and them shits. I don't know, I thought that shit was hilarious. Rowan, not the neatest word. It's just them being far too gone. Molded chocolates weird in color and lacking flavor. Cake, however, is delicious. Flavor's great. A bit of a mess. Prue, if we came to your house and had a slice, we would think it was perfect. Paul was like, nah, I'd probably just kick off. Like, I'm not eating this shit. Josh, the box was not properly tempered. The piping not precise. The sponge is baked beautifully. However, it's not carrying enough flavor. The molded chocolates are delicious. A little triumph. Josh, and we've said this in years past, you cannot be writing vertically on anything. You have to lay these shits down, write on them, and then you can set them up nicely. But guess what? They ran out of time. 4 hours was not enough time to do this for these people. To do it right, everybody succeeded and got it done, but to do it right required either more time or just, I don't know, a higher level of effort than they could manage this week. Nikki, box looks amazing. Cake is extremely rich, really nice salted caramel. They think it was on fire this week, which is so weird because I feel like she was so poor otherwise. Christy, love the box. Beautiful, very chocolatey, solid texture, dry in the mouth. So, you know, it's
you
good.
taste in the box, you can't have it dry in the mouth.
When I tell you solid texture, I'm not saying it was solid. No, I'm saying it was solid, and they didn't like that.
They did not like that.
Saku, structurally good, no shine. The flavor's good, but the cake is dry, and the chocolates, as in their molded chocolates, was a bit soft because it was rushed. And then like everything, she had a bad week, y'all.
Ooh.
And in any other
my dog.
situation, it would have been a coin flip between her and Christy as to who could have gone home.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have seen Christy home, but you know, that's not her.
Mm-hmm.
But alas, I guess not alas. But for them this week, no one went home. Double elimination next week. Taking it to the mat. And 2 people will go home next week because they didn't feel it was fair with Tasha not there and having had a poor.
It wasn't great.
A mid-ass signature. They was like, she had a mid signature and the rest of y'all didn't do this good either. So
because they're like, it's the chance Tasha could have took her ass home this week, so we got to run it back.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give y'all the stay of execution this week, and but our star baker this week is none other than Maddie, and no one else would came close. Nikki maybe, oddly enough.
Wait, what? How was Handsome Dan's?
Oh, Dan's downfall was they asked him for a cake and he made pudding instead.
Oh yeah.
I knew where it all fell apart from him. One hit away, Bleak. I'm telling you.
Nikki did all right too this week. I was very happy for her to finally have a good week.
She did poor in the technical. But actually not really, because she came right in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
4. So she did fine. She had a real solid signature and a good showstopper. So Nick, I feel like Nikki could have been is the only other person I probably would have voted possibly
in the conversation.
Yeah. But Maddie showed up, and I appreciate it. I'm glad he got one. I'm happy that he got one. I don't think Maddie's gonna take the plate home in the end, but I do feel like he's a real good baker. I
saw him coming a couple weeks ago, so hopefully he stays consistent.
Yeah, I dig that. I think that is it for this week, y'all. Next week is Pastry Week, which I'm very excited about. I love Pastry Week because it's all about lamination, people. Getting that butter to do what you need that butter to do. As long as they don't come with something wacky and weird, like make me a vegan pastry, we'll be okay.
Yeah. Watch that be it too.
I just know. Look, pastry is one of the things that we don't fuck around with it. It needs butter, and it needs a lot of it, and that's what makes it great.
You want to do what you call it in National Week? Have them make some like phyllo dough, some spanakopita or something. That's with a country that's nearby to y'all that you know what to do with it.
Fuck with some European shit. That is
right.
that is so real. If you are so inclined, the email address for the show is podcast@stagefreshmilk.com. The phone number is 216-264-6311. We certainly love to hear from you. And hear from you this week we have. So let's pull up the old first over to the phone number. Miko Michelle in the building. Hey, we back, baby. Bake Off, that is. I'm late watching because I'm trying to let them stack up a bit so I won't be thirsty for episodes. Why do we find this show so hard? I need to unfollow the pod temporarily so the loser isn't spoiled for me by the pod cover.
Yeah.
But no worries at all. Anyway, I'm ready to count all the times Tayrell says delight, which because it makes me smile to hear a cis-het black man comfortable enough with himself to do so. Why, thank you. Why when I was watching episode 1 and 2, I was already laughing what I think will get the real good laughs out of Nick Jew. Thanks in advance for the great shows, Miko. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sweetie.
We out here. Let's see what I want to go to. Email first. Let's go to email first. Email from the big homie Frank. Good. Hello all. Thank you for another entertaining and gut honest episode. I thought I would follow up on the suggestion you check out the Canadian Bake Off show. I would say the first season of the Canadian version is a bit of a letdown. While Dan Levy does a solid job of hosting, the judges are kind of forgettable as TV personalities. The show was rightly criticized for going easy on the contestants in terms of challenges, and a number of contestants felt a little self-conscious and a little guarded. Luckily, the showrunners listened to the criticism, and the challenges got better, and the successive contestants seemed to have more relaxed and more willing to be themselves and not be afraid to come across as a little silly. A good franchise version of the first 6 seasons of the Australian Bake Off, the judges are very good and instructive when assessing the work. The contestants are both talented and fully embraced being on TV in a good way. I recall one extremely talented baker who was a high school student who, no surprise, went to culinary school. I'm not sure where you can see the episodes, though. Also, they recently revamped the show and completely changed all the judges and hosts for the 7th season.
Oh, wow.
The new group haven't quite found their footing. The Junior Bake Off show is actually pretty good. It's astonishing to find 11-year-olds that can bake. I watched one season where Prue was the judge, along with GBBO alum Liam Charles. Yeah. It's weird and entertaining to see a young boy who knows how to make Genoa sponge. I think you can find those episodes on YouTube. Liam also hosts Bake Off The Professionals. This is a show this is a show hard to get into since contestants are teams of 2 and composed of professional bakers. Honestly, can't recall the majority of them. However, the challenges are damn hard and the judges are passionate and colorful in their personalities. That show is on Netflix. Frank, thank you again, Frank, man.
Thank you, Frank.
Love to hear from you.
I've watched a little bit of the professional ones, and I believe that also the kids are on Netflix too.
Bake Off Junior. All right, so those are clear. And let me jump over to the show page because we have a couple of Q&A responses. One is from Junie Mo. Hey, I just wanted to agree with Nick Jew. This is not the lustful season. LOL, LOL, LOL. Thank you, Miss Jew. And Bevy 19, Dan or Rowan? Paul called Rowan's bakes monstrous and hideous. How is Rowan still here? And Dan, one word, raw. Bye-bye. I want to hear Paul improves twisted ass rationalizations. Truly, I do. I was so upset about that. Of course, because I told y'all the question last week was going to be Dan should have been sent off, right? Because he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
We out here, people. I'm saying, I tell you, I get a look at our analytics just about every day because I'm that kind of dude. And we getting listeners all the time. We're getting Spotify impressions, meaning when people search for Great British Bake Off, we show up in the feed, and some people take advantage and go ahead and jump in on that, and I love it. So thank you for listening and supporting and responding and so forth and so on. Please make sure you hit us with them 5 stars over there on Spotify, and if you be so kind as to write a little review on Apple Podcasts, that'd be great because you do it. It gets shown to more people, and more people can get down with our show. And I promise you, I fully think we do some amazing work here. Just gonna be honest with you. We do good stuff, and you should be getting down with the get down. Well, others should be. You already are, and thank you for that. Bring more to us. What's the question of the week this week, y'all? What kind of poll is? Who should have left? No, and then the questions are Christy or Saku.
I like that.
Those was the ones. Had anybody left this week of those two who should have? Question of the week. What about chocolate week?
Your favorite chocolate bar?
Oh,
there we go. What's your favorite chocolate bar, y'all? We call them candy bars in America because there's not enough chocolate in them. Wow, whack. I'm telling you that shit. Can I wait for you to go to England?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some foods.
Come through with just all the sweets. I'm not saying you're gonna eat and enjoy all the sweets, but just take a Cadbury from America over there with you and compare notes.
Right.
Because American Cadbury became whack a while ago once Hershey took over.
I'm gonna be so spoiled, I think.
I appreciate that. I love that for you, and I'm excited for you. That cannot come soon enough. Just so I can just sit there cheering from the sidelines. Eat that food, Nick. Get them chips and fish.
Yes.
Don't eat that eel pie.
Will not. Just be prepared for several nerd references, some theater shit I'm gonna have to do. Oh
my god, you going down to the West End?
Of course. I haven't looked at their season yet for next year, but I will soon to see what it is I'm going to see.
Nice. See, I'll be doing my England. Anywho, y'all, that has been Crimpin' Today this week. Right? So I hope you got down to get down and enjoy it. That is Nick Jew.
Basketball back though.
Man, we're playing tonight. We got the Nets. Have to see how that plays out. That is Big Anthony is what they call him.
Or that guy that makes me breakfast.
I am the Understatement 713. Bake with us all once more. See you next week, y'all. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.